He's the Killer Gorilla. He's Jared Cannonier. He's kind enough to join us right now to talk about the win on Saturday. Hello, Jared. How are you?
I'm doing good, Ariel. How's it going, man? Thank you for having me on again.
Yes, always a pleasure. I said on Saturday after the win that you are timeless. Like age doesn't seem to affect you. Even a rough first round doesn't seem to affect you, and you looked fantastic. We've seen you in many different forms: heavyweight, light heavyweight, middleweight. Maybe this is me being a prisoner of the moment. I thought you were in the best shape of your career on Saturday. You looked like you were chiseled out of stone. Is there anything to that?
Yeah, I actually was in a lot better shape this go around. I didn't really add anything too drastic. I just started going to the gym on my own. You know what I mean? Instead of just going during my scheduled classes, just adding more to the schedule. Try not to overwork myself at the same time, which is a tough thing to do. But yeah, I was able to come out of this camp in really good shape. I looked really good. I felt really good, and I got the victory.
The potential threat of a 3-fight losing streak, did that weigh on you? Was that part of the motivation as well?
I wouldn't say it's part of the motivation, but it's definitely a factor. Something that I considered. Um, who wouldn't consider it? So yeah, it was definitely a factor, but I wouldn't say it weighed on my mind. I was worried. I was more focused on displaying the skills, me performing in the best of my ability, not getting hit. The third one didn't come to fruition as I would have liked it to, but um, I was still able to get the win, so I'm still happy.
I know that you were asked a bunch of questions regarding gatekeeper, this, that, and I could feel like it sort of annoyed you on fight week because you don't view yourself as such. Who would want to view themselves in that way? And so I'm just wondering, when people keep bringing up your age and they bring up questions like this and they bring up in the build up to the fight, how do you process all of that and not let it get to you where you're starting to question yourself and being like, is there anything to this? Because every fighter has to deal with this. When are you going to retire? When are you done? And it's probably unfair as you're preparing to go into battle. No one wants to think of these things. And so how did you block all that stuff out?
I guess I've gotten used to it, man. Ever since I turned 40, everybody's been talking about how I'm 40 and still fighting. So it's almost a year now. So I suppose I'm used to it at this point. Um, I guess I'm busy proving everybody wrong. You know what I mean? Showing them that 40 isn't the end of the road, isn't the descent down the hill, if you will. So, yeah, man, I still got tread left on my tires.
Are you surprised that you're still fighting and thriving at 40? Like, was this always part of the plan? I mean, perhaps not saying like, oh, I want to fight into my 40s, but there are some fighters who say, I don't want to get there. I don't want to do this as a 40-year-old. Are you surprised?
I mean, I enjoy doing this. I don't know how those guys feel about fighting, but for me, fighting isn't paramount in my life. You know what I mean? Fighting is a part of my training. So, yeah, there's risks involved and stuff like that, but what part of life doesn't involve risks? Being born is risky in and of itself. So, um, I don't know, man. I can't really compare myself to anybody else. Again, my motivations are different from everybody else's. And yeah, I don't really see no end to it as long as my body can keep going, as long as I'm able to take care of my body and able to take care of things outside of fighting and martial arts. Still being still being able bodied. Uh, I don't see no end to this.
You say that your motivations are different. So what are your motivations at this point?
Well, as far as fighting and martial arts goes, it's not about being in the UFC. Um, it's not about making money or anything like that. It's all about growing and learning and getting that fulfillment. Martial arts is fulfilling to me. So I really enjoy it. It brings a certain amount of quality to my life that nothing else can, that not even the UFC does. So again, the UFC is encompassed within my martial arts journey. So my motivation is to be a better fighter, be a better martial artist, to grow and be a better human being through the martial arts.
Do you think martial arts has made you a better human being?
It has definitely attributed to me being Yeah, me improving myself. Yeah, absolutely, yes.
There are some fighters who I feel like maybe get a little down when they're put on the Apex cards because they want the buzz, the hoopla, the fans, all that stuff. Correct me if I'm wrong. I feel like you don't really care that it could be in a warehouse, it could be out back. You just you want the process and you want the challenge, you want the reward, and that's it. You're not really in it for the other stuff. Am I right about with that sentiment?
To a certain degree, yes. I'm not motivated by the attention, the lights, and being on camera and being, garnering fans and stuff like that. Um, I do enjoy that aspect of it. I do benefit from getting paid. So I'm not going to sit here and shun that aspect of it. I understand. I use it for what it's worth. Um, but it's not my primary motivation. And I don't want that to determine how I think, how I speak, and how I act.
You know how this game goes. They're always trying to build new stars, contenders, etc. Circle of life. It's like the Lion King, and so I'm wondering if you viewed this as a situation where they were trying to build Gregory off of you. He was a little bit younger. He's on a roll. Did you view that and perhaps that was part of the thinking? Like, nah, not tonight, not today. I'm still here. I'm still a top contender in this division.
Well, I think when the matchmakers are in the office doing their thing, I'm sure they're trying to be as unbiased as possible, unless one fighter or another has rubbed them the wrong way.
Hmm.
Um, I don't think I've done that. Um, I just lost my last two fights. So, not every matchup is going to be 50-50, right? We all want to fight up in the ranks. We all want to fight the best. So somebody's going to be on the high end. Somebody's going to be on the low end. I just happen to be on the high end on the last three occasions. And I'm glad as hell that I won at least one of them. Shit.
What did you make of Gregory, especially early on? Was he tougher than you thought he would be? Were you surprised by anything he did as far as offense is concerned in the early portion of the fight?
No, I think he came as expected. I expected him um, to throw hard, to throw heavy. I expect him to come out hard, to be aggressive at certain points of the fight. Um, I just like anybody else, I expect him to take advantage of whatever momentum they can take. So when he knocked me down in the first round, I expected him to try to build on that momentum, and he really put the pressure on in that first round. I wouldn't say he did anything that surprised me. I have all the confidence in the world in my skills, so I feel like I had the advantage as far as striking, the speed advantage. On paper, he had the grappling advantage, but um, I think as far as the grappling exchanges, I felt pretty comfortable, pretty confident. The clinching stand up, he threw some strikes, I threw some strikes. Mines were better. Of course, the elbow is the one that helped facilitate the finish, or finish the third and continue that in the fourth.
Yeah.
So no, I wouldn't say he did anything that surprised me. Yeah, I'll leave it at that.
You have a great team by your side. Shout out to the MMA Lab. You guys have been together for such a long time. Between the first and second round, in order to weather that storm, do you remember some of the things that were said to you? Do you remember some of the thoughts, some of the advice?
I think it was the energy. I can't remember. I'm going to paraphrase, but I believe the energy was come back down, recollect myself. We lost the first round, but this fight's not over. Get back to the game plan. The game plan is A, B, C, and a few techniques from my coaches. From the other corner. So um, smooth sailing ahead,
Yeah.
if you will.
And how are you feeling now? A couple of days later, how is the body?
My knees are a little sore. I think that's from a little bit from arthritis, but and from checking kicks and stuff like that. My arm is a little sore from blocking kicks, but nothing major. I saw the doctors today and just going to give me some anti-inflammatories and some physical therapy, and I'll be good to go.
Man, here we are trying to squash the 40-year-old talking. You're talking about arthritis?
Dude, I've had arthritis for years, man. This isn't nothing new to me.
Really?
So you guys been seeing me compete with arthritis. Not that it's affected my performance or anything like that. So if any of you guys think y'all can take advantage of these old knees, then go ahead and give it a try. But it's
How
gonna be a
long have
lot
you had
harder.
that for?
Like 4 years, I'd say.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's a little
I fought
young
my
for
title fight
arthritis,
with
no?
arthritis. Huh?
That's a little young for arthritis, no?
Well, I had my knee scope years ago, and this game is pretty rough on the body. So I had to learn a few things on how to work, strengthen my legs and do all that stuff. And it's a continued journey for me. So it's not debilitating arthritis. It's just annoying. That's all.
Okay. And what about your teammate, speaking of the lab, Eric McConico, in your corner on Saturday, debuting this Saturday in Seattle? Pretty awesome to see, a debutante corner a legend like you a week before his debut. And I believe you're going to return the favor and be in his corner on Saturday in Seattle, right?
Well, I was going to be in his corner, but I got a lot of stuff going on around here. So unfortunately, I'm not going to be able to make it. But again, we got a bunch of good guys on the team who's going to be there to help get them ready. Coaches who are always there. Eric has his head right. He was already getting ready for a fight the day before my fight. So he just has another week to get, you know what I mean, to get even more ready. So
Yeah.
Eric is ready. I got all the confidence in the world in him to get this job done, to go in there and make a splash in the UFC in his debut and continue on this train that we got going at the lab.
Yeah, wish him the best. You mentioned in the post-fight press conference that you want to forget 2024 for in the cage stuff and out the cage stuff. It was not a good year for you, and you're happy to start 2025 on a good foot, if you will. Can I ask why was 2024 so difficult?
Well, outside of the losses in the UFC, I started the year off injured with the MCL tear. I ended the year with the injury with a fracture in my forearm. Um, my wife, we miscarried our baby earlier in the year,
I'm sorry.
and at the end of the year, right there, right between Christmas and New Year's, we ended up losing my dog. So it wasn't fun. 2024 was not good for us. We're happy to put it behind us, and we're looking forward to green pastures ahead of us.
I'm really, really sorry. Sorry about that. How is your wife doing?
She's doing good. Life goes on. We still got the three kids who still have their needs and demands, and
Yeah.
we still have another dog who still has her needs, knows how to annoy us, and you know what I mean. We still got 15 chickens and a turtle, and we still got plenty of stuff keeping us busy.
You got 15 chickens.
Yeah.
Where do you live? You live on a farm or something?
No, not a farm. We live in a neighborhood, but we don't have an HOA, so we don't have like somebody telling us what we can and can't do for the most part. But we got plenty of room for chickens. There's not a lot of room, and it's not too messy as long as we keep them confined and we take care of them.
They're in the backyard?
Yeah.
And do they produce eggs and things like that?
Oh, absolutely. Yeah. That's the
Wow.
only reason why we have them.
That's the only reason. Is there a particular reason why you have 15? Why 15?
For the eggs, we eat a lot of eggs. I mean, I eat a lot of protein.
Yeah.
If we have extra, then we can always barter some off with the teammates, with friends, or just give some to people who might need some.
How long have you had them for?
Oh, shoot. A little over a year, I'd say.
Wow. And what prompted to get them as opposed to just, buying them from the supermarket?
Well, we've always wanted to be more. I mean, self-sufficiency is the goal. You know what I mean? We don't want to go to the store for everything we need, especially in these times where certainty of the future can be, you know what I'm saying, can be a news article away, right? So, I'd rather be dependent on myself than dependent on employees at the local grocery store, truckers bringing it in from Lord knows where. You got listeria outbreaks going crazy. Man, I trust myself more than I trust other people.
Yeah.
So, I would like to have more land to where, I mean, we grow some plants outside as well. I would like to have more land so I can have some livestock though.
Oh, like cows and whatnot?
Yep, cattle, mutton, goats.
Damn.
whatever's edible, I guess.
And you would do you could do that on your own, or you have to teach
I
yourself?
mean, not on my. I mean, I would definitely need people.
Yeah,
You know what I
yeah,
mean? So I would hopefully. I mean, shoot, I don't know. I do know some people who would love to um, buy a big plot of land and work the land. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So I know some people who are down to do that. So yeah. Who knows what the future holds?
All right. Can I ask you? You know, we just had the champ Drickus on right before you, and you know what a run he's on, 9 in a row now. The record is 13. Anderson Silva. Are you surprised by? He's one of the top guys in this division that you haven't fought. Are you surprised by how good he is? By how great he has become?
No, man. In this sport, as long as you train, as long as you train the right way and you do the right things, anything is possible. You know. So yeah, he believed in himself. His team believes in him, and he went out there and made that shit happen. So good for him, man. More power to him. I'm trying my best to do the same.
Yeah. Can I ask who do you like in that fight against Hamzat?
Uh, 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 hmm.
Hey there, sorry to interrupt. Just want to remind you, if you haven't already, please do hit that subscribe button. We would appreciate it very much. And while you're at it, give us a thumbs up too. You know, we've got live shows, interviews, clips, and a whole lot more going on this here channel. All right, now back to the show.
That's a tough one, man, because I'm boycotting predicting. I'm
You're
boycotting
done.
fight prediction.
All right,
Huh?
you're done.
Yeah, I'm boycotting fight predictions. I will give analysis, but
Please.
fight predictions I can't do because the fight can go anyway. Who knows how the fight's going to happen? We know what skills these guys have. We know how they can employ their skills in the fight. The question is, on that night, who's going to be successful? And we can only make guesses as to that. But
There
we
seems
all know that.
there seems
I'm
to be
sorry.
a
Go ahead.
sentiment that if he can take him into deep waters, meaning the championship rounds, he will be very successful, meaning DDP. Do you share that sentiment, and do you think that he can get by? You see what Hamza did to Robert Whittaker, right? Just completely annihilated him early on. It was shocking to see it happen
Yeah.
in real time. And so, what do you think it looks more like that fight, or do you think this is one where we get to see how Hamza looks in those championship rounds?
Well, we haven't seen nobody really try to wrestle Drakus.
Yeah,
Um, I think he leans on his wrestling a lot. I think he feels like he's a bigger, stronger, more imposing guy than most of the other middleweights. And I know Khamzat has all the confidence in the world in his grappling. So, and it's like an unstoppable force meeting an immovable object.
yeah. What a fight that would be. When would you, in a perfect world, like to return?
I would say early summer, maybe late May, June, July, maybe.
And you're in that spot because you've been in the UFC for so long. You've fought a lot of these guys in the middleweight division, and so what are you feeling? You think it's going to be a rematch? There could be some interesting rematches. Do you think it's a fresh opponent? Where do you think they'll go with you?
Well, there's definitely no fresh opponents that they're gonna match me up with that are ahead of me.
Yeah,
That being Hamzat and Drakus.
yeah,
Sorry, I think it's too high. But as far as rematches, I think a rematch with Robert Whittaker or Sean Strickland is feasible. I would like a rematch with Adesanya, but I don't think the world wants to see that.
right.
Um, so um, so yes, I would like a rematch, one of those rematches in the next one. If it was going to be a new matchup, definitely a ranked opponent. There's going to be a fight this weekend: Brandon Allen versus
Anthony
Anthony
Hernandez.
Hernandez.
Yep, yep.
Both of those guys have expressed interest in fighting me. I don't know if they're still on that or not, but that'd be a good matchup as well. They've tried to match me up with Costa in the past.
Oh
That
yeah.
could be a good fight as well.
If it's between Whitaker or Strickland, which one do you like?
I would. Who's hotter right now? That's the
Uh,
question right now.
I'm not
So
sure.
Strickland is coming off of a title defense. Uh, I don't know if the fans are still behind him as they once were. Everybody loves Robert Whittaker, and the fight that we had was, I don't know. I mean, he won that fight, sure. So I don't know. The fight I had with Strickland was a little close. People, are on both sides of that one. I don't know. Maybe I think the Whittaker fight will be a better fight. Yeah, I like the Whittaker fight.
Okay, fair enough. And just curious with the Strickland situation, do you think that was more about what he didn't do, or was it about what DDP did do in that fight? When you talk about it,
I think it was more about him, about the way people heard him talk, how they perceived him talking, and their expectations. They let the talk create their imagination. So, but also it's also the way DDP handled him as well. You know what I mean?
yeah.
So DDP was throwing hard shots at him. I mean, it's hard to come forward when the guy is throwing hard shots like that at you.
When you watch these fights, do you look at it like, man, this is how I'd fight DDP? This is what they're not doing that I would do?
No, I try not to do that. You know what I mean? I try to be more analytical than egotistical, if
Fair
you
enough.
will. You know, so I try to separate myself from it to see what skills this guy's employing, the frequency at which he employs them, the intensity at which he's employing them. You know, all those different things. You know, there's a lot of things to consider when I am watching fighters, when I'm watching fights. So.
By the way,
I also try to say what I would do against this person as well.
Yeah, there it is. There it is. There it is. By the way, what would you do if you fought DDP that they're not doing?
What would I do I mean, I will fight the way that I fight. That's what they're not doing. They're not fighting the way that I fight. So I would go in there, I would hit them, and it would be over with.
Who's the musician in the family? I see a guitar there. I see a piano behind you.
Yes, my kids learning music.
Okay.
Learn music.
So. I thought maybe it was you.
Oh no, I'm not. No, my artistic side is in martial arts.
Okay. Yep. Well, you have mastered that, no doubt about it. And it was on display once again on Saturday. Congrats on the win. Always a pleasure, Jared. And you're doing it for us 40-year-olds now. You're now a part of the club. So we are living vicariously through you and your exploits. I went skiing on Saturday, and I'm still feeling it. I don't know how you get punched and are sitting there smiling and looking as good as you do, but that's why you're an elite athlete, and I'm not. So well done to you.
Well, thank you very much, man. I hope you enjoyed your ski. We all do what we can, right, to get the kicks out of our lives. So
that's right. That is right. That is right. Thank you, Jared. All the best to you, and congrats on the win.
All righty, man. We'll see you next time.
Yes, sir. There he is. Jared Cannonier, the Killer Gorilla, still doing his thing after all these years. His MMA debut back in June of 2011, approaching 14 years in the game. UFC debut, if you're wondering, January of 2015, 10 years ago, last month. Thanks for watching this video. Before you go, if you haven't already, hit that subscribe button for us. Also, give us a thumbs up, leave a nice comment. These things go a long way. And while you're here, do check out the rest of the channel. We've got live shows and full interviews, clips, and a whole lot more. We're doing big things here, and we appreciate your support very much.